Drew a blank on my end. Needs-based. There we go.
How have you collaborated with general education teachers to benefit your students?
So general education teachers are the main hub of where they receive their TEKS curriculum and content. The ultimate goal is for the student to be in their least restrictive environment, which is the general education setting with their same age peers. And, as the special education teacher, it is my job to ensure that they are able to fully access the general education curriculum through accommodations and modifications if necessary. However, as a special ed teacher, I collaborate with my gen ed teachers numerous times a day through various modalities. I have my email, I give them my cell phone number, I have my phone in my classroom, and I make it a point on my extra planning period to go in there and really talk to them, make sure that they have everything they need and that the students' IEPs are being followed. So, and another thing that I feel is really crucial to discuss is the fact that at a high school level, the student should be implementing some type of a collaborative effort to be involved within their education and their educational planning. So overall, it's important to remember that a high school student is about to be an adult out in the real society, and they really need to have these skill sets to collaborate and, actively know what they need as a student. Excuse me.
All right. What are some strategies you have used to increase early literacy skills in your students?
So, like I said earlier, some of the high school students really can still be reading on a first grade level. So early literacy is not always just alphabet, letter sounds, phonemic awareness. That is not all that goes into early literacy. Sometimes the students need to learn different strategies in regards to reading a word. Some kids need, whole word instruction instead of phonemic and phonics sounding out of words. I know myself, I had to learn the whole word method instead of the phonemic spelling of words. And you just have to know their brain and how they operate and learn.
All right. How do you motivate students to persevere with challenging assignments? How do you motivate students to persevere with challenging assignments?
You have to have the relationship, the respect, and the honesty with each different student so that they do persevere with the challenging assignments. You have to tell them, I understand that this is challenging. How can we figure out and how can we make it to where you are able to complete it? Yes, it's challenging. How are we going to get through it?
What is the role of social emotional learning in the SPED classroom?
Social emotional learning really focuses on how the students interact in different settings. So a lot of students aren't sure what the appropriate tone of voice, the appropriate language, the appropriate body language that they send off, the different feelings and emotions that other people can have and how that influences their discussion and behavior. So overall, it's just the overall encompassing aspect of how to teach them to thrive in any and all settings and situations appropriately.
Alrighty. How have you encouraged and or promoted parental involvement in student learning?
At the high school level, it can be very hard. The kids are at the age now where they have curfews, they have their own cell phones, they can drive themselves, they, don't necessarily have as much parental involvement as they used to. And really, what that goes down to is ensuring that you, as the teacher, are giving them information regarding their students that is based on their academic need, and kind of just keeping them up to date through progress reports on how they're functioning. And another thing is, if the kids are misbehaving in your classroom, then have them call their parent right there in front of you. Have that parent conversation with the kid present and know that the kid is talking to the parent and the parent is fully involved in all of the method behind getting a student engaged back in their learning process.
Alrighty. How do you ensure that each student receives the right type of support?
So really, you have to ensure that a teacher, the gen ed teacher and the special ed teacher and the ARD committee are all focused on the students' present levels of academic and functional performance. So for them, you have to look at how they can fully access the general ed curriculum, and based on that, they might need a calculator, they might need extended time, they might need oral administration, they might need frequent breaks, frequent reminders, chunking of assignments, provided notes. It really just all depends on their PLAF and their present levels.
Alright. How do you progress monitor your students? What do you progress monitor, and how do you document this monitoring?
So progress monitoring is determined by the ARD committee. You can discuss as the committee, based on the IEP goal, how you are going to monitor that progress and how you are going to determine their progress has been made. That can be done through multiple means of progress monitoring, either observations, teacher-made tests, checklists, benchmark data, STAR tests. It can all be based on what the ARD committee decides.
Alrighty. Where in the TEKS do you focus for writing IEP goals?
So for writing IEP goals, I would go to the TEKS resource system, and I would pinpoint where that student's IEP goal previously was and how they made progress on it. And then I would choose the prerequisite skills for whatever grade level that they are on, and ensure that the student's goal is based on their present levels of academic and functional performance. And in regards to writing, that would be within the TEKS resource system.
Alrighty. Talk about how you manage the paperwork associated with a SPED teacher.
So as a SPED teacher, every kid has a color-coded binder. I put all of their information regarding their IEP in the first tab. It's usually red. And then I go to an orange tab, and that's where their goals are. And then for their yellow tab is where I have their progress monitoring information. And then The blue tab is usually regarding their CTE and transition courses. And then I also have kind of the extracurricular, their student interests, parent information. All of it is organized within a binder, and I keep the binder in a locked file cabinet that is fireproof and confidential. I keep any notes that the parents send, anything like that, in that student binder.
Alrighty.